When the first iPad came out, I absolutely loved it. I used it every single day, loved the way it worked, and I thought that that feeling would last forever. But then the next one came out, and the next one, and then the next one, and I just found myself not really using it. I don't really know why, but I know that that's a common thing among a lot of people. They just stop using the iPad. But then I got the iPad Air 2, and that same feeling I had with the first iPad came back. This thing is super thin, very powerful, it's just an awesome device to look at, but it isn't perfect. I use it every single day, but there's things I wish it did that it just doesn't do. But then Apple goes and plays with my emotions and releases the iPad Pro. And the more I think about it, that seems like it's the perfect device to me in a few definitive ways. So to understand why I'm excited for the iPad Pro, it's important to understand how I use the iPad. And there's three main things that I use it for that have really changed my workflow and made a vital part of how I do my everyday life. And I really love this thing, like I said. So the first thing is for taking notes. Now when I'm in class, I don't really take notes on the iPad anymore just because the classes I'm taking don't really need notes, and when I take them I just jot them down on a piece of paper real quick because I'm using my sketchbook, so that's just a little bit easier. But what I really use notes for is for when I'm making these videos. So when I have a product or something I want to talk about, I'm definitely going to have at least a bullet point set of notes there, or I'm going to write an entire script like I did for this video. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a whole script here, and it just makes it really easy to have the notes in front of me and just use it right here. And I always type it out on the actual iPad itself. I just like the way it works. Now when I'm taking notes, I often have split view activated so that I can see Safari or some other app that I want to use to reference whatever I'm taking notes on. So if I have a device, I just have all the specs in Safari so that I can make sure everything is correct. And yeah, I'm running iOS 9 on here. Since the first beta, it's running really well. Absolutely love that feature, and I'm totally used to it now. The only thing is that when you split the screen in half, it really becomes quite small and you don't have that much room to do what you want to do. But with the iPad Pro, that problem seems to be mitigated, and it's pretty clear that this feature, the split view feature, is made for the iPad Pro rather than here, but this can do it and it handles it really well. It's just not that big, and I think the iPad Pro will really solve that pretty well. And also the keyboard. Now I'm actually pretty good at typing on the iPad's keyboard, even though it's all virtual. And I do have some iPad keyboard cases that I use occasionally, but I'm one of those weirdos who actually likes typing on the glass, even though you don't really get any feedback. I'm really good at it and I actually enjoy it. So having the iPad Pro's bigger, real-size virtual keyboard I think would be awesome. They also have the keyboard case, but it doesn't really interest me all that much. But the keyboard software-wise, I think that's a good addition. Now, the second thing I do with my iPad is consume and share media. So I like to watch videos, I like to read articles, or just use discovery apps on the iPad. And I like to do that when I'm lounging around. I could sit in this chair, it's pretty comfortable, and it's just better than sitting at my desk. But more importantly, I like to share media. So whenever I'm working on something, I like to show people. I get excited. I know it's kind of silly, but I'm really excited about the stuff I'm working on and I like to show people. And it's just easier to hand them an iPad and show them what I'm doing instead of having to bring them to my computer, which is a 27-inch iMac. Can't exactly carry that around to people, so I use the iPad for that a lot. For everything I'm working on, I usually show at least one person, and the iPad is vital for that. So just having a bigger screen to do those things, I think is going to be awesome, and it's an even better way to show people because, again, I'm working on a 27-inch iMac, it's huge, and then coming over to this little screen really isn't the best experience, but having a bigger one I think would be awesome. Not really something that anyone would really care about, but for me, very specific, and it's something that's important to me. Now the last main thing I use my iPad for is for creation. So when I'm designing something or setting up a shot, I like to sketch it out. And a lot of times I do use pen and paper for that, but I also like to use the iPad because I mess up a lot and it's very easy to just erase what I was doing on the iPad and start over instead of wasting a ton of paper. I like to use the iPad for that. Now instead of using my finger, which I have done a lot, I use a ton of different styluses. Check this out. These are the main players in the game when it comes to styluses, and the ones that I don't have, I didn't get because they seem to have issues with the iPad Air 2, but I've used a lot of them. The issue I find with these is that they aren't precise enough. To be precise, the stylus really needs to communicate with the tablet, and there's some that do that, like the Pencil by 53, and they do look nice, but they still don't work all that well. My favorite stylus though is the Adonit Jot Pro, and it really is quite great, but doesn't give all that much control because it's not connected, so you can't do things like change the stroke based on how the pen is positioned. So I really do think that I can use the Apple Pencil because, as you see, I use a lot of different styluses, and having one that's made by Apple for the particular device should hopefully be better than all these third-party ones, and it should work really well, and if it does, this is definitely going to be something I use pretty much every day. I was actually considering getting a Surface for a little while because their pen seems pretty pretty awesome, but I think I might just go for this first because it's a lot cheaper, and if I don't like that, then maybe I'll look at the Surface, but I think this is a good solution. So those are the main ways I use the iPad, and it's why I'm excited for the iPad Pro. A year ago, I probably wouldn't have cared about the iPad Pro, but now that the iPad is such a big part of my workflow, I think that it's gonna help me a lot, and I'm definitely excited to get one. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about the iPad Pro. Do you think it's a cool device? Do you think you're gonna get one? Or do you think it's totally stupid and pointless? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm interested to know. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit subscribe so you can see when they're out. Also, follow me on social media. All the links will be down below as well. There may or may not be some giveaways going on there, so be sure to check that out. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and for all the support. My name is Matt again, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya!